After we were expecting to see the S21 FE at the end of October 2021, a few months later, the final edition phone of 2021 crept its way into the start of the 2022 calendar. At the time of this recording, the S21 FE was announced 3rd of January 2022 and is now available for purchase as of 11th of January 2022. Almost 3 months later than expected, 1 year after the announcement of the S21 series, and especially with the rumored S22 series set to be announced sometime next month in February, is it too little too late for the S21 FE? Hi, Ben from SamMobile. If you enjoy new and exclusive videos like this, then be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos on YouTube with SamMobile TV. Here is our experience review of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. Let's start with the design. The choice of materials used were definitely the right one. The use of plastic at the back, with now the upgraded Gorilla Glass Victors at the front for the display, and how clean and easy to grip the matte finish of the metal rail is, makes for what feels like a much nicer phone to hold and use compared to the previous Galaxy S20 FE. Coupled with the weight reduction and the thinner profile, you really notice just how well balanced the S21 FE is in the hand when using it day to day. The design language is in line with the S21 series, but this time, the camera module at the back doesn't connect to the frame of the phone, but blends more into the back of the panel. So yes, it looks very similar, but just not as adventurous as what's found on the Galaxy S21. Yes, of course, no headphone port, just like before, and the standard things like having an IP68 water and dust resistance, dual nano SIM slot, and a USB-C port are here as a solid part of the Galaxy S21 FE. But sadly, the micro SD card slot has now disappeared, which we will discuss our thoughts on this later when it comes to the specs in the performance section, as well as our final conclusion. One last miscellaneous point when it comes to the design is the color options this time round. Now, compared to the cloud colors of the S20 FE, the four colors being purple, olive, white, and black feel okay to decent at best. But you know what? Apart from that, the Galaxy S21 FE design and build is a worthy upgrade. When it comes to the display, I feel like this is secretly the best part of the S21 FE because it feels like there is more to it than meets the eye beyond the specs on paper. Yes, of course, it's a 6.4-inch full high definition plus 120Hz dynamic AMOLED display. There is no LTPO adaptive refresh rate magic here, meaning if you set it to 120Hz, which you should, it will pretty much be running at that all the time. For the audio experience, for the dual speakers, they are loud and clear, but do lack a bit of bass compared to what you find on the standard S21. Again, there is no headphone port or USB-C earphones in the box, so just consider that if it's important to you. Let's come back to the display because this sounds like the typical signature dish from Samsung and feels no different to the S20 FE from last year on paper. But honestly, in person, the display feels so much better to use and experience. Firstly, the brightness feels like a noticeable difference improvement to what I remember using compared to the S20 FE previously. Maybe thanks to the Victor's glass, but it's the clarity that really just brings out and just wasn't something that was there before. And even the touch and the feel of the glass makes for a very pleasant experience when typing and scrolling. One caveat, there is no pre-applied screen protector there, so this is something that caused minor smudges on the front glass for my particular model when using it, so highly recommend getting a glass screen protector, which should be straightforward and easy thanks to the fact that the S21 FE does have a flat display. Although the top center selfie hole punch is not any smaller than before, gone is that silver ring that made it look bigger and stand out more than it needed to. And the last thing that really impressed me with the display is the in-display optical fingerprint scanner. Yes, this is an optical and not ultrasonic like what you find on the S21 series. So yes, it lacks that super speed and response, but it's still very accurate to the touch. In terms of location, it is slightly lower in position than before, so it might take a little bit of time getting used to and adjusting to it, but unlike other optical scanners, if the display or the always on display is off, the fingerprint sensor actually still works. Now, we're not entirely sure how Samsung have been able to do this, but this is something I personally came across unintentionally and found it interesting to say the least. Apart from wanting slightly better haptics, which feel pretty much the same as before, overall the display experience on the S21 FE is excellent. For the specs and the performance, as I am in the UK, the model I have here is the base model with the Snapdragon 888, which comes with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Now, to no surprise, my experience using the S21 FE day-to-day has been great, with smooth and general consistent performance with pretty much no slowdown or stutter. Now, I say generally because the only place I found it not to be as snappy is the camera UI. Now look, the camera UI itself is not slow by any means, but I tend to feel slowdowns in the shutter response and also when moving through the extended zoom ranges. When using it, there is no sign of overheating, and gaming performance for extended periods seems to be performing pretty well. Honestly though, the saddest part of the S21 FE specs is the removal of the micro SD card slot. And now, considering the starting price of this base model with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage saw no price reduction this time round, this is quite unfortunate to see, as it makes it feel a bit overpriced compared to what the S20 FE was bringing previously. But overall, the performance has been great so far, with pretty much no complaints. In terms of the camera performance, the S21 FE can still make the argument of being the most well-rounded for both videos and photos at this price point. Yes, the hardware specs are pretty much a copy and paste of the S20 FE, so we won't spend too much time here as we detailed this in our early hands-on video from before, which we highly recommend you watch as well. As there is no super high resolution sensor here, it lacks shooting modes like 8K video, but the sheer fact that you can still shoot in 4K 60 frames a second on the selfie and the main rear sensor is still very impressive. Now, to get better video stabilization, you might have to go down to the lower frame rates and also resolution like full high definition 1080p 30 frames, but overall the video performance is very good. Pictures are clean as well. Looking at the daylight shots, standard selfies have good detail and colors. Portrait selfies follow the same with decent to good edge detection as well. Now what's nice is that the main sensor produces nice pictures and images in the day, but having the dedicated optical zoom at 3x for more reach adds a level of flexibility we appreciate when using the S21 FE, added to the fact that you do have the 0.5x ultra wide field of view sensor and lens when in tight angle situations in which you still need to get the shot. Now, one thing we do advise is that do not really push it beyond 10x, even though it does go up to 30x digital, so you can get the best results when zooming in. Now, let's move over to nighttime. When shooting at night, the main sensor is definitely the star of the show and the main one you should be leaning on and using the most, as it does produce good shots without night mode, whereas to no surprise, the ultra wide does struggle a bit when it comes to doing it with the ultra wide sensor. Overall, the camera is well rounded as a package and gives you near enough the same experience like you would find on the Galaxy S21. Software-wise, the S21 FE is actually Samsung's first device to launch with One UI 4 running Android 12 out of the box with no additional OS update needed. Now, thanks to Samsung's update policy, the S21 FE should see updates go as far up to Android 15. Now, whether this base model with 6GB of RAM will hold up as far as Android 15 is yet to be seen, and a slight point of concern. This is still great news and potentially a slight advantage for the S21 FE compared to the standard S21. All the best parts of One UI 4 are here in its full glory, such as Material U with color theme and color palette, new privacy controls, new widgets layout and interactions, better device care options like RAM Plus, and additional new accessibility control and features like extra dim for the display. As we have covered One UI 4 extensively, we will leave a playlist in the description below for all the videos covering all the features you need to know about One UI 4. Let's see how the base model S21 FE lasts long term, but so far the software experience has been great. Like the S20 FE, the S21 FE packs a 4500 mAh battery with 25W wired charging, 15W wireless charging, and 4.5W wireless power share. It's sad to see that there is no charger in the box this time round, not even the 15-watt charger like you got with the S20 FE previously. So consider that you might have to buy the 25-watt charger separately if you want the best charging speeds. Now, speaking of charging speeds, the S21 FE with the 25-watt charger is pretty quick, taking between 1 hour 10 minutes and or 1 hour 15 minutes to get to full charge. Now, overall day-to-day battery life has been great, and although screen on time isn't the most perfect metric for battery measurement, getting about 6 to 7 hours of screen on time is a good one with the Galaxy S21 FE. Now, the only thing I didn't feel was great news when it came to the battery usage was the battery drain in standby time. Now, this might just be down to the fact that I'm using 5G and I live in a very strong 5G coverage area, but away from that, the battery life has been good. Our final thoughts on the S21 FE stands as this. Yes, in an ideal world for this base model here in the review, a starting price of no more than $649 would have been great, with an additional $50 at $699 for the 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage model if needed, especially considering the removal of the micro SD card slot. Now look, the phone itself is great, and we feel if you buy it, you won't regret your purchase. But the biggest problem the FE has is that it could be really down to the fact that the base model S22 is just around the corner. And again, depending on the price and what it brings to the table, it might be worth waiting for that particular model. That out of the way, let us know your thoughts on the S21 FE. Have you picked up one for yourself yet? Let us know in the comment section below. For the latest news in the world of Samsung Daily, be sure to visit us at SamMobile.com. And for all the latest news and videos on YouTube with SamMobile TV, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification, and we will see you next time.